maybe first let's start with those three big words: ownership, responsibility, accountability.
Right.
I agree with you. They are used interchangeably, but for me, they have a very distinct meaning. Yet they have some like complementary value or like align in one way or another. How do you look at it?
By no means are these probably like the definitions in Merriam-Webster's book, but
Oxford
maybe,
Dictionary.
starting with the definitions from the Sidekick book or the Nora book. So maybe starting with accountability. I see that as you are answerable to an outcome. So the work that has been done, you are ultimately answerable, have to answer to it.
Yep.
Whether it worked, didn't work, good, bad. But being accountable doesn't mean you're the one actually doing the work.
Right.
So that's where it's being responsible. You have been assigned tasks or activities to execute and see through the work to get to a desired outcome. So accountable is answerable to it, and is likely the person that's assigning it to a responsible person who has to see through the work.
Yep.
Now, ownership is kind of like, to me, the cherry on top. It's a mindset where you feel a deep sense of like pride, energy to not only get to the outcome, but take some proactive, different approaches to truly get the best outcome you possibly can and think differently and maybe go about it how you see. So it's like taking it that extra mile, that extra step, just not, I need to get it done because I've been told and this is what we need to do, but that extra energy, sense of pride that comes along with it, that intrinsic motivation. So maybe like putting it in an example, it's a very simple example, and having just hosted a party over the holidays, maybe we'll use that one. And that I was the host of the party. So I was ultimately accountable and had to answer to the outcome of a successful party. Everyone had a good time.
Yep.
No one got sick. People got home safe, reconnected, whatever my goals were, right? Had a good party and people felt good about it. Folks along the way were like, how can I help? Can I bring some? So some people were responsible for bringing an appetizer, a drink. So they didn't really care at the end of the day if the party was great.
Right.
I mean, for their own benefit, who wants to go to a crappy party? But they were responsible for bringing an item and were really focused, getting their item there and making sure it was good. And then ownership would be going that extra step. So the cherry on top of, not only do I want people to leave having a good time, but I put thought into the menu and people's dietary considerations and who was coming and the ages of folks and is there kids' food there? And some people might leave early because kids got to, thinking through that. And some people haven't met before. So how am I creating Priya Parker's like a way to connect amongst people instead of sitting around, hi, who are you? What do you do for work? Right?
Yeah.
So that's ownership, like really wanting to create a memorable experience for everyone.
You were accountable to the success of the party, but you also had certain tasks, I imagine, that you were responsible for. Some were
I was still responsible
to others.
Yes.
Yeah. Great. And how about ownership? Were you...
I mean, I love a good party.
Were you the only owner or were there other people that showed ownership?
I think there were other people that showed ownership where they reached out and said, like, I know there's going to be a bunch of kids there. Would love to. I'll bring some games or some things for like an activity for the kids, who thought of things. And there was somebody who kind of reached out around that, like gave some ideas on like an activity to connect. And they said, I'm happy to lead it. So they kind of like became responsible for it. But yeah, there was other people. And I mean, this is like a third or fourth year going. So it's interesting how over time, everybody looks forward to it. I hope so. And like has a good time and wants everybody to have a good time.
Yeah. So I love how you said ownership is more of a mindset, more voluntary, more intrinsically motivated. There was one definition that I was able to find that I really loved, and I'm going to read it because it's hard to remember. But it is a definition by Pierce, Kostova, and Dirks from 2001, 21. And it says, psychological ownership is a cognitive affective state where people feel something is theirs. It taps into identity and intrinsic motivation.
Mhm.
So really reiterating kind of your Nora definition. So it's a mindset. I think it's often associated with things like entrepreneurship, taking initiative, going the extra mile, type of things, right? But distinctly different from accountability.
Mhm. I agree. They are not interchangeable, but they are mutually reinforcing.
Yes.
It may be so bold to say, and you tell me if you think this makes sense, that you can be accountable or responsible, but not feel ownership.
Yes.
But you can't feel ownership without being responsible and accountable. That's a little mind bending.
Yes.
I mean, I guess you could feel ownership and then it's like, why are you getting involved? But you're just passionate about
maybe
it.
you can feel ownership without fully being accountable. But
Yeah.
maybe by feeling the ownership, you already kind of
Are
take on
accountable
some of the
or responsible for something. Yeah. So maybe there is that.
Yeah. But I
There's
think generally I would agree.
Yeah.